everybody, we're going to tie a bit of a crayfish today. I'm going to do it on a size 8 streamer hook. This is a 2220 Daiichi. We're going to have some Rainey's rubber legs in this thing. We're also going to use some orange marabou. We are going to have some of this flash dub around the body. We're going to use a piece of thin skin and some turkey quill dyed orange for the antenna. And then also we will have some vinyl rib shrimp colored, and we're going to weight this thing with this lead-free wire. So I think I didn't miss anything except for super glue and scissors and the usual. Anyway, it's the recipe. We're going to throw a hook in the vise and then start this orange thread. Oh, did I mention the orange Orvis? It's an 8/0, but use what you got. Try and match color more so than tension or anything else. I'm just trying to go with an orange theme. I also might have forgotten to mention I'm going to use the last of my little red eyes. I don't have them in orange. If I had them in orange, I would use it. But yeah, so alright. We're going to start with weight. We don't want to go too far back on this. I mean, we will throw those dumbbell eyes in here to really make the eye of the hook come down first. This thing will hop like a crayfish across the bottom of the river. So on your retrieve, if you jig fast and pause, that'll really bring the fish in and make them think that this is a real crayfish hopping along the bottom. So just gonna condense all this wrapping here. We're leaving a good section, about 25% of the hook up by the eye uncovered, just so that we have plenty of space trapping our thread. And, oh, I broke this thread right away. Maybe I won't. Alright, we're back. I just switched this in a nicer bobbin. If you have trouble at home breaking thread, seriously, get one of these. You have a screw here. You can turn it clockwise to increase your tension or decrease your tension. I hardly break thread while using this bobbin. Those starter kit bobbins, they're okay, but especially when you start using way thinner thread, like these 8/0, 10/0, 12/0, you're gonna have a lot better luck using a more sophisticated bobbin. Alright, so like I do with any time I do these wraps, I'm going to make about 5 or 6 turns on the one side, and then I'm going to take this and put it over the top. The thread there is just going to help me climb over it. Sometimes if you've spun it in a certain direction and you're trying to wrap it, it doesn't want to go. It doesn't have anything to gain traction on. It'll just spin in the groove and you'll never make it anywhere. Alright, so now we're pretty secure with all that. I will do a bit of super glue after I get these lead eyes in and take a short break and let that glue dry. If you notice, we want these on top, just like a clouser minnow would be. This will jig the hook and it'll fish like this. So the hook will always be up and it'll be weedless. So not really weedless, but it won't hook the rocks like your other flies might. I'm tying more on this direction to straighten out these eyes. I want to make tension, spin these, so I'm going this direction for now. I think we have pretty much made it there, so I'm going to go down my lead just to have some anchoring wraps. Got quite a bit of tension on there, so I will tighten it back down in the hook vise. And they're still moving around. I like to make wraps on my lead eyes until they feel secure to me. And it's important to go like 4 wraps, 5 wraps, and then go down your hook shank so that they're anchored in. If you just keep spinning around the eyes and you don't change to come down the hook at all, this thing will still spin and you'll have a bunch of thread just built up around the eyes, and it won't really do you anything. Won't secure it, won't do you any good. So it's important to take a few pauses, switch directions, go up the hook, back down the hook, go the opposite direction, go up the hook, come back down the hook. And look at here, I can spin my vise, I mean gently. It still wants to wiggle around on me, but you notice how much more tension there is than when I went to go spin it before. So we're gonna do this, cycle this maybe four more times, 3 more times. We'll see, we'll test it. I'm gonna go just one more pass at the whole thing. Once more in the opposite direction. Once more in a figure 8, back on through for good charm. Alright, now I'm going to take my Gorilla Glue or super glue of your choice. I just like these bottles because it's both a brush and a nozzle, but you do what works for you or what you can find. I mean, I can typically find this at Walmart, but you know, if you have a closer hardware store or something that sells some of this Gorilla Glue or any other super glue, use what you get. Use what you can get a hold of. Don't need to drive into town just to get something special. So, with the glue on there, I'm Just going to make a pass and try and even this out. Wrapping your thread through the glue is going to work that glue into those tin wire wraps or lead wire wraps if that's what you got. I suppose it really doesn't matter if I'm going to use lead eyes if I have non-lead wire, but alright, I'm gonna hit the pot. Alright, and we are back. Well, while I was away, the glue just dried, and I forgot to mention that we're going to be using some rabbit strips. These are dyed in orange with some barring. And this is the original thing. I cut it in half down the middle and then cut the two pieces out. So I've got two separate claws. I just thought it would look a little big just all together. So at this point, we're going to move our thread all the way back to our eyes. And we are going to pick out a piece of marabou. So what you really want in this fly with your marabou is some long flowy pieces. This should be pretty good, seeing as it's plenty lengthy. Don't really want any of that stem piece, but I will hold on to it until this is sort of tied in. The glue is a little tacky still. Maybe I should have waited a little longer, but I don't know if it's the worst thing. Alright, so that's clipped in, that's tight. Spin it around. Sorry if you don't have a rotary vise. We're gonna take just a piece of thin skin. We're gonna want it just a little bit longer than the body is right now, so I'll take this piece here. Sort of taper cut so it's easy to tie in. You want this on the top of the eyes. Just sort of wedged my thumbnail down and held it in there tight and gave it a few wraps. Now at this point we'll grab our vinyl rib. We're almost done with the lower half of our body. We're going to sweep all that forward or away from the bend of the hook. Now we're just going to work our thread back down. I don't care that there's a few stragglers of marabou. Everything's going to get covered. It'll all look just fine in the end. So we're up here. and I'm going to hide my thread. We are going to gather that turkey marabou and twist it up. And with it twisted, we are just going to wrap and pinch with our opposite hand. Come and twist this up as it comes to wrap forward again. Now that we're up here, just gonna capture things with my thread. So I got 3, 4 wraps. I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way again. We're gonna twist this on top of itself, and we're going to take our thin skin and hold it down. Hopefully you don't still have wet super glue. Maybe I should have waited another minute. But now with our vinyl wrapping, we're going to go around just gathering all that loose marabou, the long stuff at least. I like all of this little stuff in here. It looks like a swimmerette of the actual crayfish. So at this point, we will take the rest of our thin skin, and we're going to not cut our thread like I just did on accident. I didn't even have the scissors open. But with the thin skin wrapped back like that, I'm going to just try and hodgepodge. I'm going to show you how to fix this stuff. Alright, so that's at least wrapped into place. I'm going to come in with my new thread wraps and just come back over myself. You know, because once you have 4, let's say 5 wraps, everything's back to normal. Cut out the excess. I am going to dollop a little bit of super glue in here just because that thread broke. That's the second time the thread's broke this fly. So if you're struggling, just know we all started somewhere. Alright, so I'm going to undo what I did before without undoing the whole thing. And I'm going to wrap up under my thin skin, and now I will capture this whole thing with my thread. Cut away the vinyl. Maybe do a couple wraps to clean things up. Pull the marabou. I know there's some super glue in it now, so it's going to want to stick to a certain side or look crooked when it comes out of the vise. But I think we're still looking okay. So now we're going to pick up our claws. We're going to strip away just a little bit of fuzz off the back side of them. And if you can pinch this in there and put the leather in, you can work it in. We'll grab the other set of fur, strip away that little back, quarter of an inch or so, just so that you're tough against the leather. Place this in here. This strip's just a little longer, so I'm going to strip out just a little bit more fur and trim away the leather. Just want to be as symmetrical as possible. Alright, we got plenty of wraps there. This is starting to look pretty good. We're going to go ahead and take 2 of these orange turkey biots and cut them away from the quill. And I got them to separate. We're just going to use these as antennae. So I'm going to try and throw them on each side of the hook. Peel that top piece back all that much more for just this moment. I might really need to adjust this hook. It's pretty tight up in here. I'm going to drop it down. Comb this out while it's out of the vise for a quick second. I know there's some super glue in here. I totally got it on my fingertips, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. Alright, so now that we have plenty of gap in there, I think that this will be totally easy. So, once again, just pull this back, hold it down. Try and get these to seat themselves on top. And I might just go ahead and do them one at a time because I'm having trouble doing them at the same time. So hold that in there, wrap your thread, get your other biot. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead, just put a few tight turns in there. Alright, now we are on to putting in some of these rubber legs. So I'm just going to pull a section out. This is way too long, so I'm going to do what I do every time I do the rubber legs, is just get one piece, fold it in half, cut it, fold that piece in half, cut it. I just do this so that I have symmetrical stuff to work off of. I mean, obviously, there are big bugs that use this much rubber, but if I ever want to match stuff up in the future, if I apply the same technique, or a tape measure might also cure me of a lot of stuff. But just being even and symmetrical goes a long way, at least for the fish. And I like that there. I'm going to cut that other piece, so I'll have a total of 8 legs. And if you watched the rubber spider video, or rubber leg spider video, it's going to be the same deal. Well, no, I forgot one step. One step that will improve the whole look of this upper abdomen, or carapace of the soft shell lobster. No, this is just going to make this piece where all the legs come out. It's not an abdomen. I misspoke. It's hard for me to work my hands and my mouth at the same time sometimes. Alright. Dubbing. Once you get your first loop of dubbing in, as long as you turn the same way after each turn, you'll be locked in. It'll be pretty solid. That's not enough. I want to build this body up just a little bit more, so I'm going to pull out a little bit more dubbing and start twisting it up and in, building my body up, twisting with every turn of the thread. Alright, it's looking good to me. Got a little body built up. Should work out nice. At least you can see it's a little bigger here than down here. And this will also help flare our legs when we go to seat these in. Just pull up and cinch down. We're just going to adjust this around to see them in a place where we want them. That's looking pretty good. pretty good over here too. So now to button this guy up, we're just going to take this piece and flip him up over the top. Sometimes if you own a tweezers, they can come in pretty handy at this step to just get this piece out and where you want it. Just tug on it, manhandle it a little bit. If it doesn't look good, you're not going to want to fish it, so tug on the legs, get everything just how you like it, and we'll tug the legs backwards for this. So we're going to wrap as close to the upper part of that shell we just put up. Alright, gonna do a few half hitches here. I'll go do a wraps in between where the legs are, do the half hitches here. So I just spun my fingers around twice to form a loop. I'm just gonna pull that tight. Once again, twist, twist. Oops, I didn't mean to knock the camera, but once you have the loop up, alright, I put like 4 half hitches in there, and now I'm just gonna put a little bit of super glue around the knot and over the top of the whole carcass. Just going to try and make sure all my legs stay apart. The rubber melts super easy for the super glue, so it's something that I keep my eye on. I know the super glue touches the rubber, like instantly melts. There you go. There you have it.